Right now, a wall of Atlantic low pressure is barreling toward the United Kingdom, and by the middle of February 2026, it could dump up to 30 centimetres of snow across the Scottish Highlands. But here is the part most people are not talking about. The south of England is not safe either. Valentine S Day, the 14th of February, is shaping up to be one of the coldest days of the entire month, with temperatures in London potentially crashing to 0.9 degrees Celsius. And that is not even the most alarming detail I have for you today. Stay with me, because at the 5-minute mark, I am going to reveal exactly when this system peaks over your specific city, so you know precisely when to stay indoors and when it is safe to travel. And at the 10-minute mark, I have a genuinely surprising piece of data from the Met Office that puts this entire winter into a much bigger and frankly more unsettling context. So let us get straight into it. Drop a comment right now telling me where you are watching from. London, Manchester, Edinburgh, Glasgow, Cardiff, Belfast. Tell me your city or town, and I will make sure I cover your area in detail. If your location is not in this video, I will personally respond in the comments with a forecast for you. Here is what is happening right now across the United Kingdom. As of the 4th of February 2026, the Met Office confirms that cyclonic patterns are dominating the entire country. Translation: aggressive low-pressure systems are lining up over the Atlantic like planes on a runway, each one loaded with rain, wind, and for parts of the north, heavy snow. But here is the twist that makes this particular setup so dangerous. These frontal systems are not going to sweep through quickly and move on. They are running headfirst into a stubborn, blocking high-pressure system sitting to the northeast. Think of it like a conveyor belt of storms that suddenly hits a brick wall. The storms slow down, they stall, and they dump everything they are carrying right on top of us. That collision between low pressure from the west and high pressure from the east is the engine driving everything I am about to tell you. Now, the Met Office has already issued yellow weather warnings across a massive area covering Northern Ireland, the southwest, London and the southeast, the Midlands and the entire north. And in parts of Scotland, those warnings have been upgraded to amber. Amber means a significant likelihood of serious impacts. We are talking potential flooding, transport disruption, and in the Highlands, genuine blizzard conditions. I am going to break this down region by region, starting from the south and working our way north, with specific timing for each area. London. The capital is sitting right in the firing line. Mid-February daytime highs will hover around 8 degrees, dropping to roughly 2 degrees overnight. But remember what I said about Valentine's Day. The 14th of February is forecast to plunge to 0.9 degrees. If you have dinner reservations along the South Bank or plans for an evening walk, you will want thermal layers, a proper winter coat, hat, and gloves. This is going to feel brutal. Now, here is some relatively good news for London. Mid-February is actually the driest window of the month in the capital. Daily rainfall averages just 1.16 millimeters, with only about 2 wet days in that 10-day stretch. But do not let that fool you. The Met Office is clear that frontal systems will continue pushing rain into London with very little warning. Sunshine, 2 to 4 hours a day. That is 23% of available daylight. Humidity sits around 83%, which means the cold cuts right through to your bones. There is even talk of snow on the 14th, timing for London. The worst conditions hit between the 12th and the 15th. The 14th is the coldest day. Rain bands will sweep through from the west during morning and early afternoon. Evenings will feel the most bitter cold. Manchester, 320 kilometres north of London, and the weather gets noticeably worse. Daytime highs average between 7 and 7.2 degrees. The 15th of February is forecast to be the warmest day at 7.8 degrees, while the 8th could drop to a raw 0.8 degrees. But it is the snow that should grab your attention. Manchester averages 9 snowy days in February. 9. With typical accumulations of around 19 millimeters. That is enough to seriously disrupt roads and railways. The 12th of February is flagged as the wettest day, with rainfall potentially hitting 4 millimeters. Sunshine, even less than London, just 2 to 3 hours a day. Manchester in mid-February is grey, wet, cold, and relentless. Timing for Manchester, snow risk is highest between the 8th and the 14th. The 12th brings the heaviest rain. Morning commutes on those days could be treacherous. Do not skip the next section. If you are in the Midlands or Yorkshire, what I am about to reveal could affect your entire week. Birmingham. England's second largest city sits inland, away from the sea's moderating influence, and that makes overnight frosts bite harder. Daytime temperatures average 7 degrees, dropping to 2 degrees after dark. February typically brings 3.8 days of snowfall with accumulations of 15 millimeters. The city is inside the Met Office yellow warning zone for the West Midlands, which means flooding risk is real. Sunshine amounts to just 2 hours per day. That is 23% of daylight hours. Leeds and Sheffield. Yorkshire is where this weather pattern gets really interesting, and by interesting, I mean complicated. Leeds records nearly 12 wet days in February with 32 millimeters of total rainfall. Both cities recorded just 5 degrees on the 6th of February. Both are in active yellow warning zones. But here is the thing about Yorkshire. The Pennine Hills sit right to the west. When Atlantic rain bands hit that rising ground, the rainfall intensifies dramatically. Or, when it is cold enough, it becomes heavy snow instead. The Met Office has specifically named the Pennines as one of the highest risk areas for significant snowfall. The ground is already saturated from weeks of rain. Any additional rainfall could trigger localized flooding within hours. Timing for Yorkshire: the heaviest precipitation hits between the 10th and the 15th. Snow is most likely above 200 meters elevation, but during the coldest spells, it could fall to lower levels. Peak flood risk is the 12th through 14th. We are now at the 5-minute mark, and as I promised, here is where I get specific about timing. I have just covered the south and the Midlands. Now we go north and west, where conditions get significantly more severe. Liverpool. This city sits exposed to the Irish Sea, directly in the path of Atlantic winds. Daytime temperatures run between 7 and 7.6 degrees, with overnight lows at 2 to 3.1 degrees. The wind is the real story here. During mid-February, gusts along the Mersey waterfront can be formidable. The Met Office has specifically warned about strong coastal winds, and Liverpool is one of the most exposed cities in the country. 15 wet days with 47 millimeters of total rainfall. The 12th is the wettest day, potentially reaching 4.55 millimeters. Sea temperatures, 6 to 7 degrees. Absolutely not swimming weather. Timing for Liverpool: wind peaks between the 11th and the 14th. The 12th is the wettest day. Strongest gusts during afternoon and evening as frontal systems push through. Cardiff. The Welsh capital records relatively mild temperatures for mid-February, 8 to 10 degrees during the day. On the 6th of February, Cardiff hit 10 degrees, the warmest of any major United Kingdom city at that moment. But do not be deceived, February is actually the snowiest month of the year in Cardiff. That surprises a lot of people. When Arctic air plunges south and meets moisture-laden air above the sea, Cardiff can get hit with genuinely memorable snowfalls. Wales is where the Met Office expects the heaviest rainfall during mid-February, with specific warnings about flood risk. Timing for Cardiff: heaviest rainfalls between the 10th and the 15th, with peak flood risk in the western valleys. Snow risk is highest on the 13th and 14th. Belfast. Northern Ireland's capital is one of the wettest cities in the United Kingdom in February. 16.3 rainy days, 53 millimeters of total precipitation. That is nearly 1 wet day out of every 2. Daytime temperatures range between 5 and 7 degrees. Snow is relevant too, with 2.8 snowy days and accumulations of 25 millimeters. Yellow warnings cover the whole of Northern Ireland. Strong winds, heavy rain, and snow are all on the table. Timing for Belfast: the wettest stretch runs from the 9th through the 15th. Snow risk peaks during overnight hours when temperatures drop lowest. Now we cross the border into Scotland. And this is where things escalate dramatically. Do not miss what comes next. Edinburgh. Scotland's capital sits under some of the harshest mid-February conditions of any major British city. Daytime highs average just 6 to 6.4 degrees. The 7th of February could see temperatures drop to 0.7 degrees. February is the snowiest month of the year in Edinburgh, with up to 10 snowy days and accumulations of 24 millimeters. Rain adds another layer, with 13 to 15 wet days and 47 millimeters. Sunshine? A pitiful 2 hours a day. But Edinburgh under a dusting of snow, the castle gleaming white atop its volcanic crag, the cobbled lanes glistening with frost, it is one of the most beautiful sights in Britain. Glasgow. Here is a number that might shock you. Glasgow receives more February snowfall than any other major city in the United Kingdom. 49 millimeters of accumulation, nearly double Edinburgh and roughly 3 times Manchester. Daytime temperatures struggle to hit 6 degrees. On some days this month, the probability of rain has reached 96%. That is as close to certainty as weather forecasting ever gets. Timing for Scotland. Most severe conditions hit between the 8th and the 16th. Glasgow and Edinburgh should prepare for travel disruption on the 12th through the 14th. Morning commutes will be the most affected. Newcastle. The principal city of the northeast, where winters are appreciably more punishing than the south. Just 5 degrees on the 6th of February, with a yellow warning in force. As rain bands from the west push into the colder northern air, they transition to snow. The Met Office anticipates the most pronounced cold weather impacts in the northeast, with low-level snow possible even along the coast during the most intense cold episodes. Timing for Newcastle. Snow risk is highest between the 12th and the 16th. Coastal winds peak on the 12th and 13th. Aberdeen and the Scottish Highlands. This is where mid-February winter shows its most formidable face anywhere in the British Isles. Aberdeen recorded just 4 degrees on the 6th of February, the lowest of any major city being monitored. The Highlands are expecting 5 to 10 centimetres of snow above 200 metres. In blizzard conditions, that figure could rise to 20 to 30 centimetres across the highest summits. The Met Office has issued amber warnings for parts of Scotland. Snow-blocked roads and power outages are a real possibility during this period. Timing for the Highlands. Heaviest snowfall between the 9th and the 16th. Blizzard conditions most likely on the 12th and 13th. Avoid Highland travel on those days unless absolutely essential. Now, here is the 10-minute mark revelation I promised you. The Met Office has forecast that 2026 will be among the 4 warmest years ever recorded globally, approximately 1.46 degrees above pre-industrial levels. This is the 4th consecutive year above the 1.4 degree threshold. Before this recent surge, global temperatures had never exceeded 1.3 degrees. And a temporary exceedance of the 1.5 degree Paris Agreement target in 2026 is entirely plausible. What does that mean for British weather? More intense rainfall, more volatile storms, and paradoxically, sharper cold snaps when Arctic air breaks south. The wild swings we are seeing this February are not random. They are part of an accelerating pattern. Oxford and Cambridge, both southern university cities, average 3.3 snowy days in February. Here is the surprise. When cold continental air sweeps across the North Sea from mainland Europe, the southeast can sometimes receive heavier snowfalls than the northwest. Both fall within the Met Office yellow warning zone. Plymouth. 11 degrees on the 6th of February, the warmest reading of any major city. But that warmth comes with ferocious Atlantic winds. Yellow warnings in force for the southwest. Bristol, 7 to 9 degrees, 8.6 wet days. The southwest will see some of the heaviest rainfall totals of mid-February. Now, here is what you actually need to do. Practical advice, step by step. Step 1, dress in layers. Temperatures can shift from near freezing at dawn to 8 or 10 degrees by midday. A waterproof, windproof outer layer is non-negotiable. Step 2, always carry an umbrella. With 19 wet days in February, the odds of rain on any given day are remarkably high. Step 3, check Met Office weather warnings every morning before you travel. Yellow and amber warnings are active across numerous regions. Step 4, if driving in Northern England or Scotland, check road conditions before setting out. Keep a shovel, warm blanket and torch in the boot of your car. Step 5, if you live in a flood risk area, know your local warning channels and have a plan in place. Mid-February 2026 is going to test every part of the United Kingdom. The south will be milder but still wet, the north and Scotland colder with serious snowfall risk. Western regions take the heaviest rain. Strong winds and 83% humidity will make it feel significantly colder than the numbers suggest. Drop a comment below with your city or town. I read every single one, and if I have not covered your area today, I will reply with a forecast tailored to you. And here is what is coming next. Later this week, I am releasing a video specifically focused on the flood risk map for the second half of February. 3 river catchments in England are sitting at levels we have not seen since winter 2019-2020, and if the rainfall totals the Met Office is projecting actually materialize, those areas could be in serious trouble. You will want to see that one. Make sure you are subscribed so you do not miss it. Stay warm, stay safe, and whatever you do, do not leave the house without checking the